All right, it's now time for us to look at what the papers are reporting. Let's flip through. The Nation newspaper says the federal government disburses 493 billion naira to 5 million households. The Punch newspaper glitched grades. WAEC in crisis over result errors. Candidates urged to recheck new results after 48 hours. Students protest. Parents slam CBT plans. Nigerian Tribune, flooding. Lagos, Ogun, Delta, Kogi, 11 others at high risk. 198 local government areas may be flooded. Daily Trust, protest in Zamfara over renewed bandits attacks. Protest in Zamfara over renewed bandits attacks. And the Platform Times, federal government sacks 15, demotes 59 correctional officers over misconduct. EFCC to prosecute erring officers. The Daily Times, Nigerian Correctional Service sacks 15 officers, demotes 59 over misconduct. The Friday Leadership, NCAA moves to prosecute KWAM after 6 months flight ban. This Nigeria, Fuji star KWAM banned from flying for 6 months. NCAA asks AGF IGP to prosecute him for blocking ValueJet flight takeoff. Aviation Minister Kiyamo, his action reprehensible, akin to hostage situation. I'll be doing it with my colleagues, Etoma and Veronica, and myself. Right. So let's see what the Nation newspaper has here saying that the federal government disburses 493 billion naira to 5 million households. There is an embargo on NSIPA account lifted. So talking about this monies, I know you were asking questions.
I was asking questions earlier on.
I've not seen my own share. But this is good. Yesterday we just talked about 13 billion naira that was also given by the First Lady to different vulnerable groups and people who need it. Talk about medicine, humanitarian causes, etc. And this is something that a whole lot of people are applauding. Yes. But the concern remains how efficiently or effectively or judiciously this money is being used.
My question is, handing these monies to the people, does it solve the problem? And number two, do the monies actually get to the people they are supposed to get to? Let us take Venezuela as an example. When they had that boom and the government shared money, almost every citizen of Venezuela had so much money. And what did it do to the inflation? The inflation went like 3,000% in a very short time. Right now, Venezuela is suffering.
In deep crisis.
It's in deep crisis. Venezuela is suffering. And I want to say it's a direct consequence of the handouts that government
but I do not think that they are giving these people these monies freely, because it's towards the cause of national homegrown school feeding program, conditional cash transfer, power training, and farmer money, so to speak.
Yes, we can say yes, that's the way, but at the end of the day, it sounds a whole lot like giving out handouts. However, the intentions might be good. My worry is just about the effect it will have on Nigerians later on. Yeah,
Veronica, well, we need government to do something, especially the federal government and the state government. But in this case, the federal government is doing something, but we are still worried as to how much impact this is going to make.
Absolutely. You see, I was laughing when you mentioned farmer handouts, and I recall that these monies that we give to farmers, they said the monies did not come in due time. So, because when you talk about farming, for instance, it's based on season. And so if you do not get the money you need to plant at the time that you need to plant or do the needful, then the money does not give you the desired result at the end of the day. Right. And so some of them decided to marry wives, more wives.
What is your concern about marrying more wives?
No, at the end of the day,
they always say marry wives. They don't say marry husbands.
At least there are other things that you can do with this money.
I don't like this thing because I'm the disadvantaged one. You are taking advantage. No problem. But the issue is that these farmers were reported to have married more wives as against using the money for why it was given in the first place. So the essence for that money was defeated. At the end of the day, what is the mechanism in place or the structure in place to recoup these monies? If we are talking about conditional cash transfer, it is that, oh, I am giving you this money to do business and then you pay back in return. Conditional, condition is there.
Right.
If you're talking about farming, it means that you are ensuring that you use the monies to farm so we can have food, and then you channel it back to the government. What is the measure that we have seen in terms of returns regarding this? We have recorded losses over the years. Why are we still building that on that same structure? That's my question. If we are not getting the same result, this is not the first time we are doing conditional cash transfer. This is not the first time we are doing all of this. And we still do not get the required or desired result. If you talk about farming, for instance, matters of food security is still a major challenge. So what are the bottlenecks and what are the missing gaps that are even still hindering us from getting the desired result? As much as these monies are being disbursed, are we even working hand in glove with the subnationals to ensure that we get what we need to get with all of these monies?
That's right.
Over 400 billion is a huge sum that if you invest in infrastructure will go a long way.
Absolutely. So if the farmers are not planting, probably because they are out of season, they are also planting if they are marrying more wives.
Now you sabi.
Making more plantations.
Now you sabi.
Oh my God.
All right, so let's move on to the Punch newspaper. Glitched grades, WAEC in crisis over result errors. Candidates urged to recheck new results after 48 hours. Student protest, parents slam CBT plans. And looks like WAEC has also joined JAM, for these glitches, where they made us speak angrily about the rot in the education system, the fact that there is degradation when it comes to students paying attention, TikToking, WhatsApping, etc. But in this case, if you're designing something, bringing a foolproof, did you do the foolproof to ensure that the system you are introducing is going to help rather than cause more problems and even maybe danger to the lives of these students?
It makes me feel that Nigerians go into things like this just to score political points. They appointed you head of WAEC. You want to do something to impress your principal. And you don't really go down to brass tacks in doing this thing. If not, well, the CBT is a good idea to get these children to take their exams via computers. Results come out better, things are clearer and so on. But they obviously didn't do the work at the back end, right? And now there's a glitch. And now our children are confused. And Nigerians are believing that, look, are you sure it's a glitch that caused this thing, or our children are just not reading anymore?
That's right.
That's right. And
some will have gotten the beating of their lives.
Yes, some would have gotten the beating of their life. The advice would be, before you launch anything, please do your due diligence. Check the back end, front end, side end, whatever end you're thinking of. But when you launch, it should be a solid product that you have launched.
That's right. So there is this verification, validation, process of testing and innovation. But one problem here is that this will affect, it will create trust deficit. I know you're always big on trust. When you have, we have to do these things together, we have to ensure that this works. But do you not feel that this is going to affect, the trust in this process at the end of the day?
It's affecting it already because it's affecting me. I don't trust WAEC anymore, so I'm saying it loud and clear right now. It's the truth, because I'm wondering if this exam happened across West Africa. Why is Nigeria different? How much impact is it having on our image?
Ivory Coast?
How much impact is it having on our image as a country? Did Ghana Ghana also have this kind of glitch? If they didn't, what happened to ours? What was the issue with ours? Why is it always Nigeria? I recall that when JAMB happened, we all went on until now the JAMB now came out to speak about it, so much so they had to cry even on the air. And then here we are again talking about blaming it on the bugs. It is sad that we have to keep having these kinds of conversation regarding the structure we put in place in terms of education and examination. These are critical matters that we need to address. We should not handle with kids' gloves. But obviously, it seems like we are just doing things whichever way we can. Or is it because of the backlash? We are seeing them now blaming it on bugs and saying, okay, check your results in 48 hours. What do you want to do in 48 hours? Are you going to increase the scores, or what is it that you intend to do? There's going to be trust deficit. Obviously, parents are not trusting the system anymore. It even began when the students were writing exams late in the night. And here we are with this kind of result. I think that JAMB, WAEC, all of these bodies need to sit up, because education is the bedrock, is one of the bedrock of our society. And so if we are not getting it right, we have a huge problem. And it's not good to leave it as such.
Now, because of our time, let's move on to the Daily Times as well as Leadership Friday, saying that Nigerian Correctional Service sacks 15 officers, demotes 59 over misconduct. Same goes for
about time.
Not Leadership Friday, actually. I'm actually supposed to talk about Platform Times as well. Federal government sacks 15, demotes 59 correctional officers over misconduct. So
about time.
And the misconduct can range from one. It can range. We can have like 15 different items in this misconduct we're talking about. Once Nigerians know that there is a consequence for bad behavior, things will change. If it's starting with the correctional officers, good. Wherever it starts, good. But at the end of the day, we should have a culture that promotes the idea that if you do something wrong, there will be consequences. And some of these consequences can be very dire. When it happens that way, when it sinks, most of the things we're talking about on this table, we wouldn't need to talk about them anymore.
That's right.
I agree. It reminds me of the investigation Fisa Shoyombo did when he investigated the correctional centers. And he talked about the level of corruption. That's why I said he investigated. And he talked about the level of corruption within the system, how it is that some persons need to pay monies to be treated a certain way and all of that. So that's why I was saying about time for us to see these kinds of things being done. It is sad, again, that we have to speak about these things. Corruption in a system that is meant to correct people, but they are the ones ensuring that corruption is uncorrected.
All right, so let's move on to Leadership Friday and then this Nigeria. NCAA moves to prosecute KWAM after 6 months flight ban. Fuji Star, this Nigeria also says, Fuji Star, KWAM banned from flying for 6 months. Matter of fact, if this had happened abroad, it probably would have been handcuffed,
behind bars,
tried, and jailed, because it's what it did is akin to terrorism. Because when you're holding a plane to hostage, what exactly are you trying to do? What is going on through your head? And thank God he was able to dock the wing of the aircraft. If it's a big, all those big jets, it could suck him in, and we'll be discussing something else differently.
My dear, life is sweet. Life is, no
matter how heady you could be.
Life is sweet. Where, look, for anybody to behave the way he behaved that day, I believe he wasn't doing that with his right senses. There was some, maybe
influence.
there was a kind of influence. There was a kind of influence.
Well, only God knows, because only that's God what knows. We understand.
Well, I said I believe.
The reason he was asked to leave, not to board the plane.
I get your point.
Yes. Now for. And then the next thing is that I am KWAM, don't you know me?
And you said that yesterday, that if you're asking, don't you know me? Do you know who I am? Then you've lost it.
You've lost it completely. What he did was very bad. What he did is, it's unfortunate that he's a father. I even hear he's a grandfather.
Yeah, he is.
So what?
And he's a chief.
He's a chief and all that. So what are the lessons you are handing down to your children and your grandchildren? It is unfortunate. 6 months ban. Look. Let there be consequences for bad behavior. I don't think that ban is enough, even though NCAA is still calling for investigation and prosecution and so on. They should go that route. Investigate, prosecute this guy. If there's a jail term, throw it at him.
Veronica,
Absolutely.
I'm the tallest on the table. And
Nobody said you should tell us now.
And I can't imagine how I would be if I'm standing in front of an aircraft.
You wouldn't have bothered to
You won't need to dock.
You wouldn't need to dock, don't bother. But frankly speaking, I agree with Otoma on the fact that he needs to, if found guilty of whatever it is, beyond banning him for 6 months, he should be jailed, whatever way we want to look at it, because we need to set a precedence in this matter. He had been crying foul, and some persons are also crying foul regarding, oh, he was a victim and all of that. But the evidence being put forward are showing that he did what he did. So he should face the consequences of the law. At the end of the day, nobody should be above the law. Whoever you are, whatever pedigree you have laid down for yourself or whatever thing you have done, that should make you careful. Instead, how you comport yourself wherever you are, you should be careful. And remember, you have an image you have built over the years, because this will definitely impact his image.
They won't even allow you to take in, liquid into the aircraft.
No.
I was able to talk one of the security guys, through, like, I needed this water, I get, what's it called, dehydrated easily.
A baby.
Yeah, but they really allowed me. When I got onto the plane, I drank the water. But on my way to the UK from Turkey, the guy was like, just throw it into the dustbin.
Those ones don't care.
You understand? So those are the things. So I feel you are not too big to respect the law. And you are a traveler. You travel every now and then. You should know the rules.
The 6 months ban is not such a big punishment.
It's just a slap on the wrist.
Yeah, he has a fleet of very good cars.
Locally and internationally.
Yes. So
it's okay.
So
it's not banned from our roads anyway. It's just from the airwaves. All right then, that's about it for the newspapers up for review.